All right, let's figure out this camera here. There we go, baby. Okay, so there we go. All right, so live for the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Going to be going over the Bermuda Championship picks as well. I don't know, this is an interesting week. I think everyone knows that, so if you guys have any questions, definitely get those in. I did just do an NBA live stream for the first time in about 6 months or so. You know, when the PGA season really kicks off, that's when I start to kind of get away from NBA. So if you guys are curious about the NBA coverage, I know some of you were, check out that video. It's a decent one. Definitely going to get better. I was doing a new format, which I kind of like, but we'll get into that a little bit more as it progresses. But the WGC FedEx St. Jude, so there's an interesting week for sure. The more I dive into it, the more I like it, but the more I know, got to remind myself, this is WGC event. Do not play too many lineups at a WGC event. You know, just do not do it. It's you're very rarely will have a good week at a WGC event. And the Barracuda Championship is okay for betting purposes. If you guys are doing the betting side of things, it's okay. So you could hit a winner there. Hey, thanks, Billy. You know, I do, NBA is a grind, but I do like it. So how many guys withdraw this week? So I don't think any, but, you know, it's always something there. If a guy doesn't have it this week, maybe they want to play through it because it's a no-stress event at all. Or maybe they try to get some practice reps in at the course itself. So it kind of goes both ways with that. It's really tough to gauge, but if a guy withdraws, you know, it's either they got hurt, which would either be Brooks as an excuse, DJ as an excuse, and Jason Day kind of as an excuse as well. You know, those would be like the three we worry about the most, but their ownerships are going to be pretty low. For guys that are, you know, they're interesting plays at the price point. You got DJ and Brooks. Some of the best course history here are DJ and Brooks. DJ had a 20th finish here last year, a first and a fifth for his course history. Brooks obviously won last year, had 30th, 37th, and second. So, I mean, this is a course that does suit their style of game, and I think that's mostly just because of how they hit the golf ball itself. That could really be it. Thoughts on Billy Horschel at St. Jude. So, kind of talked about this on the betting podcast yesterday a little bit. I don't think he's going to win, but so for betting purposes, it doesn't make sense. But for PGA DFS purposes, I get it. He had a 10th or a 9th finish here last year, a 51st finish the year before that, and a 4th finish the year before that. He's a top 20 stat fit, which is pretty darn good. Honestly, if Gary Woodland and Ricky weren't there, I'd be on him a little bit more. I do see some like top 15 upside. He's more of a safe play, it seems like, where you're probably going to be locking in about a top 20 finish. I just don't love him too much this week. Just because I don't think he has a real solid shot at winning. Now he could figure everything out. Not a horrible play. His worst stat that we're looking at is strokes gained approach, which everything else is pretty solid. If he was a little bit better at bogey avoidance and birdie to bogey ratio, or birdie to bogey ratio, I like him a little bit more. But he's not a bad play. Once again, a lot of the times the difference for me with the player is where they're priced at. For me, I'd rather take the risk with Tommy Fleetwood. If you could pay up for Patrick Reed, I think he has a lot much more upside scoring ability for Patrick Reed. We know he can go out and score if he gets 4 rounds. 12th finish here last year. And then I like Answer a little bit more for hit or miss play, where Answer could return top 5 upside. I don't think Horschel can do that. And then Ricky talked about quite a bit. I think he's a scorer as well. Jordan Spieth's going to tank, so I will talk about Spieth a little bit later on the Yahoo talk. So who's the guy that I'm high on now that I was not on Monday? So, I mean, this week it's a little bit different. I would have a better answer typical weeks. For me, it's actually going to be Brent Snedeker a little bit. I'm not high on him, but I got onto him as the week went on. Just for GPP purposes, he really opens up your builds, but it's definitely a hit or miss play. Had a 27th finish here last year, a 6th place finish the year before that. On the betting podcast, Hosey talked about he is from somewhat of the area as well, which I did not know. That's probably why he has that good course history here. He's top 20 in bogey avoidance, birdie to bogey ratio, and then also strokes gained tee to green, which is kind of surprising for Snedeker. It's just he keeps the ball in play most of the time. So I don't mind Snedeker. I have to double check that. Is that right for third for Snedeker? I think that's total putting. Total putting, sorry. But Snedeker, I don't mind for that price point. But you got Mackenzie Hughes right there. You got Wiesberger is an interesting play. I talked about these Euros quite a bit. It's like just a matter of time before they figure it out. And once they do, that's when you want to attack them. He made the cut last week. If he makes the cut again this week, he could be an interesting value play for us next week. And that's mostly what we should be using this week for, is to really, we want to do the practice reps, because if we keep doing the practice reps, it's going to pay off. And I think next week is when it's truly going to pay off for us. Do the practice reps this week to see who's in good recent form. That helps you be on the correct players, next week for the major. Hey, no problem, Matthew. Billy says 30-1 on my book. Do I smash? This is an interesting week. I do like Hatton quite a bit. A lot of people are kind of talking shit about Hatton. I don't really get why. Dude's been a stud for at least his last 10 starts, and especially this PGA season. He's another one of those guys where he probably burned some people when he first came over from, playing on the Euro Tour. And then once he figured out, he's just been dominant. He had a 43rd finisher last year, which isn't great. Yes, but he got the course experience, so he knows it a little bit more. Great stat fit. I mean, just a great stat fit. First in the model this week. So I do like him. If you want to do that bet, he's one of the players I do like quite a bit. This week I don't really feel comfortable, doing the short odds like John Rahm or JT. But if you want to do that, you can do that as well. So I do like those odds for Hatton, though. It's pretty solid. Let's see here. Joel Damon Love. I mean, sure. I only did 24 players in the player pool this week, because that's kind of what you need to do for WGC events. But him at his price point isn't bad. He just hasn't been hitting the ball as well as he typically does. If you want to take the risk on him, you can. I like Nick Taylor a little bit more at his price point. A little bit better stat fit as well. But I'm not going to blame you for playing Damon there. It's not bad. You could go Cameron Champ as well. I think he has a little bit more upside. So you can go that route if you want to. Let's see here. Confusing week. Yeah, so I'm going to get into a couple of questions that I saw just because of that comment there. So I was hearing a little bit this week about people saying, there's no cash plays this week, which I get what they're trying to say, but they're kind of making it seem like you can't play cash this week, which you can. You just got to know kind of what you're shooting for. So I like Nick Taylor because I think he could easily top 30 this week, and that helps the guys that you're going to be on. Let's say I really like Hatton, for example. We already touched on him. If he's going to top 10 and I get Nick Taylor to top 30, that's pretty solid. But if my top end guy doesn't top 10, then it's going to be a horrible week for cash. Typically the appeal for cash is that you just shoot for 6 for 6, and more times than not, if you get 5 out of 6 across the cut line, it's a big week for you in cash. And I set up cash where if my cash lineup hits, I'm going to at least make a profit or break even. That's kind of how I do it. I'm not doing that this week. You definitely scale back cash somewhat, but you scale back all quite a bit. And once again, your best lineup, no matter the slate, should be your cash build. More times than not, it's going to be. Or at least one of your top few slates. That should be the one that you think about the most. And it's no different this week. Now, yes, you can make some other builds where you're trying to favor a little bit more upside. Like, I've had a couple lineups where I was by like Ches Reavie, who I like quite a bit this week. You could play him in cash, but I mixed it up. I threw Phil in there. I threw Champ in there a little bit, Mackenzie Hughes in there, which are horrible plays on a normal slate, but you get 4 rounds out of these guys where all they have to do is score. I like that quite a bit. Matsuyama. I mean, I don't mind Matsuyama. He's actually a sneaky play this week. Top 20 stat fit, okay price point. He's a guy where he could figure things out this week. And if he goes low, 2 rounds in a low on Saturday and Sunday, I could see it happen. Thoughts on Hughes and Taylor. So I just kind of I didn't even see the comment there. Yeah, so Hughes I like. Hughes is a scorer. I like the price point on him quite a bit. Nothing special, though, other than more or less that we've seen him go low recently. Not a good stat fit and doesn't have the course history here. He did have a miscut 2 years ago, but that's about it. Nick Taylor at least had the top 30 finish 2 years ago. Nick Taylor's at least a top 20 stat fit. Yes, the recent form hasn't been there, but we saw winning upside with him. I could see, Nick Taylor just grinding out a top, 25, top 30 finish. So get that. Yeah, I mean, so Hatton's price. I mean, Hatton is going to regress at some point because I mean the dude's on a historic pace right now. I mean, no one ever has as good of a season as he is having. It's just he's only 6 starts in. That's just due to regress eventually. But ride the wave, right? I mean, we've been on it at the start, so just keep riding the wave. If he burns us this week, he burns us this week. But we get him next week as well, probably at a lower price point. So I'm kind of hoping for some of these guys like Xander, Webb, Hatton, Berger, some of these guys that we've been on a ton this year, probably more than anyone else. I kind of want them to do so this week, even though they grade out as good plays this week. So that next week we can get them at lower ownership, lower price points, and really just have a dominant week. But yeah, Hatton's just been a stud this year. I mean, best stat fit in this field. Yes, it's only 6 starts, and that's why. And he's kind of picked and chooses his events really well, which the events he's played have catered towards his game, but still, first stat fit. I mean, that's crazy. All right, let's see here. Top 2 must plays. See, that's the problem. This week we don't have must plays. Like, honestly, I would love to say John Rahm and JT are must plays, but you can't play them. They're going to ruin your build if you do play them. But I'll talk about FanDuel in a second here. Actually, I'll just pull it up real quick. So on FanDuel, you can actually really – oh, that's Yahoo, sorry. So on FanDuel, you can actually really fit in – let's pull this camera down now. Let's do that. There we go. All right, so on FanDuel, you can actually really fit in a bunch of studs. I fit in John Rahm, JT, I think Hatton, and like Berger in there, and I had a lineup that I like quite a bit. So if this question were for FanDuel, I would do that because you could fit those two in quite a bit. The more John Rahm and JT are really likely to top 10 this week, and that's why I like them. I don't really see them winning. I think some of the longer shot guys will win. I know it's more of a DK question, but there's not really a must play. I know myself personally, I'm playing a lot of Chez, just kind of taking the Chez on it, I guess, if you will. That's a horrible joke. I love the dad jokes, though, so I apologize for that one. But Chez Reavie, I'll touch on it. I've touched on it quite a bit. 27th finisher last year, 2 top 10 finishes the year before that. Decent stat fit. He ranks top 30 in the field. Not bad. He's a guy that's game has been trending in the right direction, though, and that's why I really like him this week. So at his price point, too, he should return at least a top 25 finish, which is not horrible. And if Chez has a good week this week, we could probably play him next week as well. So he's not a top must play, but I like him as price point. And then just talking about the FanDuel stuff real quick, Nick Taylor, his price pretty low there. He's not really going to hurt you. Wiesberger on FanDuel is really the only other cheap play that I could find that I liked, where I think he could return upside. I kind of already touched on him a little bit, where I think he has figured out, kind of just gotten used to the American swing, I guess, if you will, a bit. Don't mind him as a play. And then Berger was stupid cheap on FanDuel compared to everyone else. So Berger, I wouldn't say he's a lock, but on FanDuel, he's almost a lock. Let's see here. Get back to the questions. All right, got a lot of questions coming in. Appreciate it, guys. Makes it a lot more fun. Yeah, Hideki always, dude. This is the year players that you trust are going to kill you a little bit. That's kind of how the theme's going. So let me read the comments here. Try and decide between Chez and Todd. I like Chez quite a bit. Fade Morikawa. I don't really get the love for Morikawa this week. You look at the top 10 ranked players on DraftKings. You got John Rahm, Rory, Bryson, JT, Cantlay, Webb, Xander, Hatton, Berger, and Morikawa. Morikawa is the only one in that top 10 that does not rank out as a top 10 stat fit. And yes, most weeks he would, because Morikawa is a great player. Don't get me wrong. He ranks out as the 19th best stat fit in the field this week, which for a guy that I'm going to pay up top 10 for, I just don't want to do that. Not this week. I love Colin Morikawa. If he had won the 3M Open last year, I would have had a really great week that year. So I've kind of been on him pretty early in his career. So I like him as a player. I just don't see it this week. Let's see here. Of the top 4 tier guys, Rahm, Roy, Bryson, and JT, who's your favorite? So for me, it's actually Justin Thomas. One, he's the lowest price out of them, but the dude is just a stud when it comes to like these WGC events or these no-cut events. He's a guy that just goes out and scores, and his game actually suits this course really well. He had a 12th finish here last year, top 6 stat fit. Really no weaknesses in his game. I just like JT a ton this week. Most of my lineups I'm not able to afford to pay up for them on DraftKings though. So I have played a little bit more FanDuel and a little bit more Yahoo than I typically do. So I'll get into a couple more picks here or questions, and then I'll get into the Yahoo side. What's up, Smoking Guns? Happy to see you in here, man. No, dude, there's nothing wrong with having a lot of Rory. I mean, it's a WGC event. There's really not that many bad plays. Yes, there are. Okay, there are a lot of bad plays, but Rory is not a bad play. Honestly, anyone on the top end, you can really justify. Anyone from John Rahm down to, let's see here, Tony Finau, I can make some sort of good theory as to why they're a good play. Like if I wanted to talk DJ and Brooks, great course history, going to be low owned. If those guys go on, win, you're going to put yourself in a great position to go on and win. Now, I don't think they'll play well, so don't play them. But Rory, as price point, no, not a bad play at all. You give Rory a scorer, and that's the key thing. It's like where they finish doesn't exactly matter as much this week because you're going to get 4 rounds of these world-class golfers that can go on and score. Pretty much if Rory gives himself an eagle chance, he's going to make it too, so that there's a little bit of bonus there. Rory's not a bad pick, so if you're on Rory, it's fine. If you're on anyone really this week, it's fine. Whereas, some weeks it'd be a little bit different because most of my content is skewed towards making the cut, and obviously we don't have the cut this week. Morikawa, middle of the pack. JT, would he probably be the chalkiest? Yeah, JT will probably, I don't know, it's tough to say, like, chalk this week because everyone is almost chalk this week. Playing any Victor Hovland, not going to say the other part there. Colin. I like that. That's actually good. It's the first time I heard that. I don't know why. That's good, though. Vic there. Yeah, I don't have any of him this week. I just don't like the price point for him. That's kind of where I wanted to pay. I'm pretty much paying up for Webb, Xander, Hatton, and Berger, and then just going way down and try to fit 3 of those guys that I just mentioned into my builds, and then just going way down and trying to figure it out lineup construction wise. So no Hovland for me this week. Let's see here. Hovland, Hatton, Poulter, Dahmen. Why these questions come in? They come in a ton where they talk about the same player. I like it. Is Keegan in this field? I forget. Keegan did not pop at all if he was in this field. Let me check. So Keegan, yeah, don't play Keegan. I'm just kidding. You can play Keegan if you want. I like playing Keegan, but he doesn't really grade out as a good play this week for me. Once again, no cut event, anything can happen, so I don't want to talk you out of a lineup. Poulter is an interesting play that you have in your build. I just can't do it this week. I hate playing players where the stats are just horrible, and we kind of saw that come to fruition 2 weeks ago where he missed the cut. And it's just like, it's about time because your stats have been telling us that you shouldn't be making cuts. Now, he had a top 10 finish here last year, and he has been in good recent form. So it's kind of a good GPP play. I think he'll be a little bit sneaky as well. It's just tough for me to play a player where the stats are that bad for him. But I don't want to talk you out of it. This is a week where I don't want to talk anyone out of a play. Brendan, Todd, and Lowry thoughts. So Todd, this is going to sound weird to say for a guy that's won a couple events here and almost won 3. I don't think he has winning upside this week. I just don't. I mean, it's top 20 in birdie to bogey ratio and bogey avoidance. I get that. I just can't do it. Shane Lowry, he typically goes out and scores. We just haven't seen that too much. I honestly would rather play Phil. I think Phil might finish worse than them, but he's going to go out and score. Phil, I have a weird feeling about this week. Sorry, guys. Let me get some water. Where's that at? Yeah, Phil, I have a weird feeling about this week, though. Has great course history here. Only had a 57th finisher last year, but we've seen him a ton where he's been able to go low a ton. And at this price point for a scorer, I like that quite a bit. Now, he's going to have some blow-up holds, and I don't think he has any chance to win, but he could easily top 10. All right, let's see here. Catching up on the questions. JT, T20. Honestly, JT to top 20. I don't want to say any bets a lock, but a strong likelihood that he does that. There's a few like that this week where top 20 bets, top 10 bets are the way to go this week. And if you guys have any Bermuda championship questions, get those in because I'll be happy to answer those for betting purposes. Now, DraftKings could not do a contest for that because it's a different scoring format, which doesn't really matter for betting purposes, whatever. But I get why DK couldn't do it. Wallace, you like Wallace quite a bit. Oh, so Brendan Todd. Yeah, it's kind of really matters what stats you're looking at. For me, he rated out as 36 with at his price point. It's not horrible. Definitely, top half, which is what you want. I just don't see the upside as much for him this week. Let's see here. Wallace is an okay play. I think I like his upside quite a bit. I know Hazy likes him as a play. We talked about him on the betting podcast where he's a guy that definitely can go low. He had a 27th finisher last year, which at his price point will not hurt you. That's really what you want to look for the value plays this week. It's like which ones are going to help me, at least somewhat. You kind of want to look for a guy that can top 20. Anything from there is a bonus. Fowler and Day. So I really like Fowler this week. Fowler's a guy that's been really hit or miss, shoots an 81, then shoots a 68 or whatever it is. He's a guy that can go and score. You give me 4 rounds of Ricky Fowler, that's going to be great. You saw him top 20 and top 15 twice now in the rounds that he has made the cut in. So if it's going to be there for him, 3 out of 4 rounds, he could easily go low. He could easily actually win this event as well if he figures that out. And if he doesn't have as bad as first round blow up or whatever the blow up round is for him. If it's not as bad as it's been, he could easily go on and win this event. All right, let's see here. More questions coming in. All right, let's see. Toronto Ketchup. Thoughts on Champ? I like Champ as a GPP play. Obviously, there's no cut, so it doesn't really matter. But I do like Champ quite a bit. He's just a scorer. That's really the reason why I like him. He's a guy that when his game's on, he could easily go on in top 15, which at his price point is amazing. If he's on his game, and I think I can say that more than anyone else at their price points, if his game's on, he's going to go on in top 15. So some of those other guys in that price point range, you can't really say that. It's more or less if their game's on, they're going to top 20, which Champ is the only one that can really go out and, just exceed his salary point. But it's not as likely. I mean, there's a reason why it's priced that low. I think Nick Taylor's a little bit more safe. Champ is really boom or bust this week. All right, let's see here. Thoughts on Woodland this week. Woodland, I do like quite a bit. I didn't realize Champ was getting talked up quite a bit. That's very, very interesting. So my boy Nick Taylor is not getting talked up then. Interesting. I like that. But I get why he's getting talked up. Just a guy that can go low on a scoring week. Thoughts on Woodland. Sorry, I'll get back to that one. Mike. So Gary Woodland, yeah, so is another guy that we talked on the betting podcast a little bit about as well. He had a 55th finisher last year, and I saw some people kind of trying to say this is not a good course for him because he can't putt on this grass. The whole putting on grass thing is people blow that out of proportion. You should really only be using that as like a 50-50 decision maker, and I see a lot of people just trying to use that as like an argument point where it's like, no, that's not how that works. Now, if you're 50-50 on Woodland and Horschel, you didn't know which one to pick, then yeah, use that to decide which one you want to pick. For that case, it'd be Horschel. But Gary Woodland, top 10 stat fit, okay? The dude is great. He's going to put it together eventually, okay? It's like John Rahm. The dude has been a great stat fit for a while. Gary Woodland's going to put it together here and have a good round. Now, I just kind of want to see him top 20 this week so I can play him next week. He had the 55th finisher last year. That's the problem with the WGC event. It's like we don't know what his mindset was last year, where it's like, hey, I don't have it this week. Whatever. Let's just grind it out. Not really even grind it out. Let's just hit our shots, get out of here, enjoy the golf tournament for what it is, and then just on to the next tournament. Now, if he has it going this week, he could easily go out and, win this week. It's a great stat fit. Let's see here. Lowry plays good in bad conditions. Yeah, he does. I mean, so is Leishman and people like that. See here, Answer this week. Answer's fine. Top 20 stat fit. Actually top 15. He's a fine play. He's a great hit or miss play. I like Ricky a little bit more, but I definitely have made a lot of builds where I'm just ending up in that price point range where I kind of just toss it up. Reed, Fleetwood, Woodland, Horschel, Answer, Fowler. I kind of just put them all in the builds. I've made like 4 or 5 builds where I end up in that price point range and just kind of made another one off of it because those guys are all kind of even this week. I think Ricky has a little bit more upside, though, to score. Let's see here. Do you think the winning lineup this week? Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. So do I think the winning lineup will have salary left over? I was literally just about to bring this up. Good question. Maybe I saw it. My subconscious saw it. But I have had a lot of lineups where I'm leaving 600, 700, 800 left over because I feel good about it. This is a week you can definitely do that. And I don't know what the chances of that would be, but it wouldn't be shocking at all if that's what happened this week, because I'm not going to say there's mispriced players, but in a week where there's a ton of scoring in 4 rounds, it could easily happen for sure. I definitely could see that happening. All right, so I got a question about Jordan Spieth. Now I can finally get into the Yahoo slide. So Jordan Spieth, $21 on Yahoo this week for us. Great price point for Jordan on Yahoo. If you guys want to play Jordan, play him on Yahoo. And, remember last year when he sucked at golf as well? He's doing better this year, I think, a little bit more. He had a 12th finish here last year, so take that for what it is. I probably wouldn't play him on DraftKings, but if you want to play him on Yahoo. Not a bad play there. And just talking about the Yahoo plays, look at the pricing on Yahoo here this week, guys. Just crazy good. You got Adam Hadwin, $21, who Adam Hadwin's a great stat fit. You got Chaz at $20, which I don't think we even have to go with Chaz this week on Yahoo. You got Billy Horschel at $25, so everyone that's touting Billy Horschel better be playing on Yahoo because that price point is insane. Jason Day's too good to pass up on his price point on Yahoo. And then Daniel Berger as well, $30 on Yahoo is pretty insane there. That's a really good price point for him. Let's see here. Go back to this one. Let's get the camera figured out here. You can lay back in the chair. All right, so let's get to the questions here. So Hatton has been fired. Do you agree with? Yeah, why are people talking shit about Hatton? I honestly want to have a discussion with the person that's really talking shit about Hatton. Doesn't make sense why people don't like Hatton this week at his price point. Who cares? He's been great this year. I don't get it. Is it just a name thing? Have they not been watching him? I don't really get that. I just don't. It's weird. It's weird to me. Did they want him to be below Berger this week? Sure, he should be 95, 9.5 this week. Whatever. I don't get it. That's one of the weird ones that doesn't make sense to me, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really like to listen to anyone else, because it's just a weird thought. I don't want to get those thoughts there. Thoughts on Neiman this week. I actually don't mind Neiman this week. Did not make the player pool. He was 2 players off from making the player pool. Just did not feel comfortable about it. Don't mind him as a play, though. Why is there no love for Reed? I actually like Reed quite a bit. I really don't get why people just don't like playing Reed, to be honest with you. He had a 12th finish here last year. Pretty solid. He's a guy that goes out and scores. You give us 4 rounds of Patrick Reed, especially if the camera's not going to be on him like it was a couple tournaments ago. That's a joke. But, yeah, he can go out and score. Not a bad price point for him either. Now, if he was 9.5, you weren't playing. But at 8.8 on DK, I like that a ton. I like Nick Taylor, too. Yeah, see, that's the problem with people that are coming back from long absence. It's how are they going to respond from just a week of playing well and then kind of a weekend of not playing well, where he just made the cut and then didn't do anything from there? Obviously, he didn't respond well at the Memorial, but he was really close to making it. I think he had 2 bad shots at the end of his round that ruined his round, kind of the theme for that week. So, his price point, we know he's a good staff fit. He should be able to put some things together. All right, let's see here. Going back to Hadwin this week. So I will tell you guys, for my cash, I'm either playing Adam Hadwin or Ches Reavie. I was thinking about playing both of them, but I'm I need a little bit more upside for cash. So Hadwin's close. I might change that top 10 stat fit. I guess not really well in the model as well. So if you guys are playing Adam Hadwin, you can. I think with Hadwin, damn, I keep on trying to say Hatton. Sorry. With Hadwin, we're pretty much locking in a top 30 finish. I just don't think he has any upside, and that's why he's priced this low. All right. Burger or Xander? Sorry, was it Toy J? I can't read that. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so thoughts on Xander or Berger. So I like them both quite a bit. I think Xander's going to be a little bit more chalky than he should be, but Berger's going to be pretty chalky as well. You could play both of them. I like them both quite a bit this week. Can Homa do it again this week? I mean, Homa's fine. If you guys played Homa last week, I mean, the dude is a scorer. This would be the week to play him. Not a bad price point for Homa. You know, you're kind of playing with fire with a player like that. Like, you could play Bubba as well. I think I'd rather just play Champ, to be honest with you. Or you could go Scotty Scheffler as well. I get the thought process there with Homa. Wow. Mouth is getting dry. I apologize, guys. Will Wolf keep it up this week? Probably not. I just don't see it happening with him this week. 24th finish here last year, not horrible. I just don't see the point of playing him this week. I like Casey a little bit more. Cam Smith there. No, I don't like him this week. Fine price point though. It's another, okay punt play. If you are going that route, you can go that route. That'd be perfectly fine. 12th finish here last year, but remember last year, he was playing great golf. He was a really good stat fit as well last year, where this year, not playing that good of golf, and that's kind of why he's priceless, though. Is fading the top 4 pretty much a bad idea? I'm doing that a lot in my builds just because you're kind of giving yourself a better opportunity of getting at least 3 or 4 players with top 10 upside, where if you're playing, one of those guys, Rory, JT, Bryson, and Rahm, you're kind of limiting yourself to really... I need one of those guys to win to have a profitable week because the rest of your build is kind of lacking. And then thoughts on Casey bounce back. This is going to be the Casey bounce back spot for sure. I mean, the dude's going to win it. Ultimate troll job by Casey this week, where he just disappointed people 2 weeks ago, where I don't know why he was that chalky 2 weeks ago. And then last week, where it made sense last week in that field. Yeah, this is going to be the one where he goes off. I don't know. I like Casey quite a bit this week, to be honest with you. I've been ending up in his price point range quite a bit, and I feel fine with it. Decent staff. He's a great total driver, ball striker. With Casey, we know what the story is. Can he get his putter going? And if he can get his putter going, it's going to be a fine week. Poulter or Joaquin Niemann? Probably Poulter for me after I kind of shit on him earlier. I don't mind Poulter this week. How many 9K guys do I have in my cash build? Let me just pull it up here real quick. I don't remember. I think it was 3 of them, but let me just double check. Because I know I was kind of messing around with the idea of having Ricky in cash, which I didn't like as much for kind of... I think he's going to go out and score, so I don't mind him. Let's see here. I got 3. I got 3 players in the 9K range. So, and I kind of think that's kind of the strategy to go with this week, but it might be the norm. So it's something you got to watch out for. Strowman or not? Sure. I don't think either of them will win. Na's a guy where everything else is great except for his total driving and ball striking. So if he has a good week in that, he could really, go off and kind of have a really good round. This is one of the years where Kevin Na has actually been statistically solid. Normally he's not as good statistically as he has been this year. Mostly it's harder to predict, so I don't mind Na that much, or Strowman. I think Strowman's a little bit more risky, so to answer that, I'd rather go Na, but I'm not really on those guys this week. Let's see here. The withdrawals from Na do hurt the soul a little bit, but that's kind of everyone that plays him. So Tyler Duncan, I know I can't play him this week, but I'm hoping he does well. He's one of those guys that made 9 to 5 look pretty well earlier on in the year, and I hope he does well as well. All right, I'm going to be finishing up here, guys, so get your questions in to close, and I'll be heading out. Think Day is a decent play. Day is an okay play, but once again, just play him on Yahoo if you kind of play on multiple sites. If you don't, I just want to play him on DraftKings, but if you do play on multiple sites, play him on Yahoo. All right, and then just closing up here, you guys know the deal. 9 to 5 Sports, $10 a month, the membership page, the best value out there for, PGA DFS. So Definitely go out there, purchase it, because we got the majors coming up. Major season is coming up. Guys get it in, the practice reps this week, and then for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be some good stuff, especially the PGA Championship coming up. So what I did recently was that instead of doing just the first look build, kind of just posting the lineup and kind of trying to gather my thoughts into one picture, I've been actually going through and just kind of giving you guys my thought process of that week and kind of where my thought process was with the builds. I know last week that was really successful for everyone. They're able to kind of make their lineup decisions, and even if they had like 3 out of 6 across the cut line, they still were able to see like which players I like the most and wanted to get into my builds a little bit more, and that ended up helping them cash and with 3 out of 6 last week. So shameful plug there, but I mean, I gotta do it, let's see here. Garcia, I don't mind quite a bit. I mean, Garcia is a fine play. What do I usually shoot when I golf? It really depends. 9 holes probably. It really depends. I mean, depends on I'm playing. Like around +3 on 9, and then 18, it's really, do I have a drink in me or not? If I have a couple of drinks in me, it goes downhill kind of decent amount, but if not, probably like below +10 on 18. I don't have a handicap. I think handicaps are kind of a waste of money, but if anyone does, I'm not talking shit. I get it. It is kind of fun to see how many players that PGA DFS players don't play golf that just love watching it and betting on it, because it is kind of easier and it is pretty entertaining to watch as well, especially the Friday sweats and Sunday sweats, Thoughts on Morikawa? All right, last question, and then I'm out for the day, and I hope you guys have a good week. So thoughts on Morikawa? I just don't like the price point for Morikawa this week. He's rated as he's the top 10 player in the player pool, the 10th best, and he ranks out as like a 19th best stat fit this week. So I think his price is a little bit juiced up just because of how much we've seen him lately and how much people have kind of talked him up lately. So I don't think you're getting as good of return on investment on his price points. I don't really see him going out and like top 10ing compared to some of the other players around his price point range. All right, guys, that's all I have for you this week. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like and subscribe. I always do appreciate that. And as always, let's keep cashing. Thanks, guys. I'm out.